It is Sunday night. You have a deadline tomorrow morning. The work is not finished. You have known the work was not going to be finished for at least a week, maybe longer, but you have been hoping the weekend would save you, hoping you could pull it together, hoping you would not have to tell your manager. And now it is Sunday at 10 p.m., and you have a message to write that you do not know how to write. You sit there, typing and deleting. The wrong words make you sound incompetent. The right words feel impossible. So you put it off again, and you tell yourself you'll write it first thing tomorrow.
This is the most stressful conversation in professional life in English, and almost nobody teaches it well. Search YouTube for it and you will get 100 videos teaching you the polite phrases to apologize when you miss a deadline, 5 ways to say sorry, 10 ways to ask for an extension. Those videos are all answering the wrong question. Because here's the thing, the actual problem is not which words you choose. The actual problem is when you say them. Today, I am going to show you something that took me years to understand, and that genuinely changes how professionals at every level are seen by their managers. It is this: when you tell your boss you are behind matters more than how you tell them. Same words said on Monday sound like a project owner flagging a risk. Same words said the night before the deadline sound like a confession. Same words said the day after the deadline sound like an excuse. The message did not change. The timing did. And the difference between being seen as senior and being seen as struggling almost always lives in that gap.
But almost every professional English learner I have worked with treats this as a content problem. They obsess over the wording. They polish the message. They worry about which formal phrase to use. They wait, sometimes for days, until the message is perfect. And while they are waiting for the perfect words, the timing window closes. By the time the message is ready, it is too late to land it well, no matter how polished the English is. So we are going to flip this. We are not starting with words. We are starting with the curve. Once you can see the curve, the words almost choose themselves. Picture a timeline. On the left side is today. On the right side is your deadline. Somewhere between those 2 points, you become aware that you are going to slip, that the work will not be done by the date you promised. From the moment you realize, a clock starts. And along that clock, there are 3 windows where you can say something. We will call them green, yellow, and red. Green is early, at least 4 or 5 working days before the deadline, often longer. Yellow is the middle, a day or 2 out, when the slip is now obvious but the deadline has not technically broken yet. And red is the danger zone, the day of the deadline or the day after. The exact same conversation lands completely differently depending on which window it happens in. Therefore, the real skill here is not phrasing. It is recognizing which window you are in and matching the message to the window. But before we walk through the windows one at a time, let me give you the 4-part move that lives inside every one of them, because the structure of what you say stays the same across all 3. What changes is the tone, the level of detail, and how much room you have left to negotiate. Every message about being behind has the same 4 parts. I want to give them to you in order, because once you carry them in your head, you will never freeze at the keyboard again. The 4 parts are flag, reason, plan, ask. Flag is the first sentence. It names the project and the slippage in one short line. The opening phrase that does this well is, I want to flag something on the Q3 report, or I want to flag a slippage on the launch timeline. Notice the word flag. It is the exact right word, because flagging is what a responsible project owner does. The opposite of hiding, the opposite of confessing, just neutral, professional information. Reason is the second sentence. 1 neutral cause, not 5. The single biggest mistake learners make here is stacking 3 or 4 reasons, like they are building a legal defense. That sounds defensive. And the moment you sound defensive, the manager starts to wonder what you are actually hiding. 1 reason, picked carefully. The phrase that frames it cleanly is, I am tracking about 3 days behind on this. The word tracking is the magic word. It signals that you are watching the project, monitoring it actively, and reporting an observation, not making an excuse. Plan is the third sentence. This is where you bring the proposed solution.
Most people skip this part. They tell their manager the bad news and then wait for the manager to solve it. That is the move that drains your credibility faster than anything else. Fluent professionals always bring a proposal. The phrase is, "What I'd propose is moving the internal review to Thursday," or "What I'd propose is sending the client a heads up tonight." The word propose is the magic word here. It says you have already thought about this. You are not handing the problem up. You are handing up a solution that needs a yes.
And ask is the fourth sentence. You close by inviting your manager in. The phrase is, "Does that work? Or would you rather I find a different option?" Or, "Does that work for you?" The ask makes the conversation collaborative instead of transactional. It tells your manager, you are still in charge. I am bringing you the situation and a plan, but the final call is yours. That single sentence is the difference between sounding like an employee and sounding like a partner. Flag, reason, plan, ask. 4 sentences. 20 to 30 words total. That structure does not change. What changes is the window. Let's walk through them. Start with the green window, the one almost nobody uses, and the one that quietly separates the professionals who get promoted from the ones who do not. Green window is 5 working days out or more from the deadline. The slip has just become visible to you. It might still be possible to recover, but you can see, honestly, that the original date is going to be tight at best. Here is the thing most professional English learners miss. The green window is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is a sign that you are paying attention. The instinct most learners have at this point is to stay quiet, to hope they can make up the time, to avoid worrying the manager, to handle it themselves. That instinct is exactly backwards. In a Western workplace, the colleague who flags a problem 5 days early is not seen as struggling. They are seen as the person you can trust with bigger projects.
Therefore, the green window message is short, casual, and almost confident. You are not asking for forgiveness. You are not apologizing. You are simply reporting. The whole message can fit in a single Slack line or one short email. Something like, "Quick flag on the Q3 report. The data team's inputs came in a week late, so I am tracking about 3 days behind on the current ship date. What I'd propose is moving the internal review from the 21st to the 24th, which still keeps us on time for the client. Does that work, or would you rather I find a way to compress the analysis step?" 3 things to notice about that message. First, it took about 40 seconds to write. Second, it does not apologize once, because there is nothing to apologize for yet. And third, it leaves the manager with options. They can accept the new date, push back, or ask for a different plan. They feel in control. You look professional. Everyone moves on, and the conversation is closed in one exchange. But most learners will never send that message because the slip feels too small to mention, and the manager is busy, and surely it will work itself out. Therefore, they wait. They wait through the green window, and by the time they cannot wait anymore, they are in yellow. Yellow window is 1 to 2 days before the deadline. The slip is no longer hypothetical. You know it is happening. The deadline is close enough that the manager needs to react, to update the client, to push something else around, to make a call about whether to ship a smaller version. The yellow window message is slightly heavier than the green one, but it is still calm, still structured, still solutions-led. Here's what it sounds like. Heads up, the Q3 report is going to slip by 3 days. The data team's input came in late, so I am looking at a Thursday delivery instead of Monday. What I'd propose is sending the client a 1-line note tonight giving them the new date. Better they hear it from us than discover it on Monday. Want me to draft it? Notice what changed and what stayed the same. The 4 parts are still there: flag, reason, plan, ask. But the tone is a little more urgent. There is a heads up at the front. The plan is bigger because now the consequence is bigger. You are not just moving an internal date, you are managing the client relationship. And the ask is more specific. Want me to draft it? Because the manager has less time to think.
The yellow window is workable, but it is not free. You have burned the optionality you would have had in green. Your manager has fewer choices now. The client has less notice. The team has less time to react. And the cost of that is, frankly, a small mark on your credibility. Not a big one, but it is there. The manager files it under, "This person flagged it late." Do that once, and nothing happens. Do it 3 times in a row, and you stop being trusted with deadlines that matter.
Okay, let me pause for a second. You have the curve, you have the 4-part flag, and you have 2 of the 3 windows. If even one of these has clicked for you, if you can already picture writing the green window message you have been putting off on something at work, I want to ask you for 2 small things. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I want to be honest with you about something. The voice you are hearing is AI. I am telling you that because you deserve to know. But every single word of this script, the 4 parts of the flag, the 3 windows, the example messages, the specific phrases, was written and rewritten by a real human who has spent years coaching professionals through exactly these moments. The flag, reason, plan, ask structure took a long time to land on. Writing it down so it actually transfers to your real Monday morning takes care. And the only signal YouTube has that this work is worth showing to other learners is when you hit like and subscribe. So if any of this is helping, like the video, hit subscribe, and let's finish the last window, the hard one, red. Red window is the day of the deadline, or after. The deadline has either just broken or is about to break, and there is no realistic path to making it. The red window is the one almost everybody in your audience is searching for because it is the moment that triggers the panic that made you open this video in the first place. So we will spend a bit of time here. The red window message is different from the green and yellow ones in one specific way. You still use the 4 parts: flag, reason, plan, ask. But there is a 5th move you add only in red, and it goes between the reason and the plan. That 5th move is ownership. One short sentence where you take responsibility for not having flagged this earlier. Not for the slip itself. Projects slip for real reasons. That is fine. The thing you own is the late flag, because the late flag is the part you actually controlled, and managers know it. Here is what red sounds like. I missed the Monday deadline on the Q3 report. The data team's input came in late, and I should have flagged the delay last week, and I didn't. The full draft will be on your desk by Thursday. From now on, I'll do a Friday inputs check on every deliverable, so this does not happen again. Anything else you want me to add to that? 5 parts now. Flag, reason, ownership, plan, ask. The ownership sentence is 16 words. It is the most important sentence in the entire message because it is the one that decides whether your manager files this under trustworthy person had a bad week or under this person hides problems. Without it, even a perfect plan reads as defensive. With it, even an imperfect plan reads as honest. That single sentence is what stops a small red window slip from compounding into a credibility hit you cannot recover from. But here is the truth about red. Even with a perfect message, red is expensive. The conversation is going to be uncomfortable. The manager is going to ask you questions you did not want to be asked. The relationship takes a small hit every single time. Therefore, the long-term goal is never to write a better red window message. The long-term goal is to never need to. Let me show you all 3 messages on the same project back to back so you can hear the difference. Green, 10 days out. Quick flag on the Q3 report. With the data team's input running about a week late, I am tracking 3 days behind on the current ship date. What I'd propose is moving the internal review to the 24th instead of the 21st, which keeps us on time for the client. Does that work, or would you rather I find a way to compress the analysis step? Yellow, 2 days out. Heads up, the Q3 report is going to slip by 3 days. The data team's input came in late, so I am looking at a Thursday delivery instead of Monday. What I'd propose is sending the client a 1-line note tonight, giving them the new date. Want me to draft it? Red, day of. I missed the Monday deadline on the Q3 report. The data team's input came in late, and I should have flagged the delay last week, and I didn't. The full draft will be on your desk by Thursday. From now on, I'll do a Friday inputs check on every deliverable so this does not happen again. Anything else you want me to add to that?
Same project, same root cause, 3 completely different conversations. Green sounds like a project owner. Yellow sounds like a responsible employee in a tight spot. Red sounds like a professional cleaning up after themselves, which is fine, but it is more expensive every time. The whole game of this skill is moving every slip you have 1 window to the left. Yellow becomes green. Red becomes yellow, and the slips you used to dread become small, routine messages you write in under a minute.
Quick recap. When you are behind on a deadline, the timing window matters more than the wording. Green window, 5 days out or more, short, casual, solutions-led. Yellow window, 1 or 2 days out, calm, structured, slightly heavier. Red window, day of or after, adds an ownership sentence between the reason and the plan. 4 parts in green and yellow: flag, reason, plan, ask. 5 in red: flag, reason, ownership, plan, ask. And the phrases that carry it. I want to flag something. I am tracking about 3 days behind. What I'd propose is, does that work, or would you rather? Memorize those 4. They cover 90% of the situations you will run into at work.
And listen, once you can flag a slip cleanly, the harder version of this skill is the one nobody warns you about. What to do when somebody else's slip is blocking your deadline, and you have to manage upward without sounding like you are blaming a colleague. That is a completely different conversation, and a much harder one. The other videos on this channel are where you build the rest of those skills. Subscribe so you don't miss them. Now tell me in the comments, which window are you in right now? Green, yellow, or red? I read every single comment on this channel, and these stories, the actual real Monday morning stories, are honestly the reason I keep making these videos.